I want to talk about Joao Felix, and it's not going to be because of his performances, because I know that we have talked about Joao Felix like every day ever since he made his debut for Barcelona, but I mainly want to talk about Barcelona affording Joao Felix by the end of this season, because the biggest question that I have, right, seeing how Joao Felix is scoring goals every 90 minutes, bringing an assist every 90 minutes, I'm like, how in the heck is Barcelona going to afford Joao Felix? Like, it sounds so good right now, right? We're in paradise with all of the players performing at a high level, Joao Felix scoring goals, being very entertaining on the pitch. Everything is like a dream right now. But how in the heck are we gonna afford to pay 110 million euros to Atletico Madrid to fully sign him on a permanent deal? Because when I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, there's going to be a very big question arising once this season does end, and that is, how is Barcelona going to strategize for the signing of Joao Felix? Who are they going to be letting go of? How much is Atletico Madrid going to be asking for? Because I know that the president and whoever's working at Atletico Madrid are looking at Joao Felix performing for Barcelona, and they're rubbing their hands. They're like, yes, this is exactly what we want. We want Joao Felix to increase his value, and we're gonna have the right to ask for more than 95 million euros. Like, I know they're smiling. I know they're so happy to see Joao Felix perform because they're gonna want to get their money back. Like, remember, Joao Felix went to Atletico Madrid for 127 million euros. I think that is one of the biggest price tags that Atletico Madrid had to pay for in their history. As a matter of fact, Joao Felix's transfer is probably one of the most expensive transfers in football history. So I can see this team, this club, asking for so much money once the season does end. Like, we're probably going to be winning many titles, many players scoring goals, we're going to be celebrating, and then about 4 or 5 days later, we're going to hear Atletico Madrid, breaking news, want 110 million euros for Joao Felix, and we're going to be like damn, like really, how are we even going to afford this? So Deco did say this about 3 weeks ago, right after Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo got signed. There is no buy option in the loan deal for Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo, only a 1-year loan, but if they perform at a good level, we will try to keep them at the club. And you know, that's the key word, we will try to keep them. Try. Deco never said we will keep them if they perform, but they will try. So everything is very 50-50. You know what they say, never fall in love with your loan players, because you never know what could happen in the future. Javi Miguel also reported this, and I quote, FC Barcelona are barely paying any salary to Joao Felix. He reduced it a lot for 1 year, but with the club's financial situation, they cannot compete with any other top team who are already starting to generate interest in signing him next summer. And so yes, this is very true. Like, I know that there's other teams out there in Europe that are looking at Joao Felix and they're like, okay, we're gonna combat for his signing, and that's very scary, because the moment you see a lot of bids being thrown at Jorge Mendes and Joao Felix, just outrageously pouring out all of this money, Barcelona cannot do anything. Now, part of the problem is Javier Tebas. Javier Tebas has said that, yes, I'm going to be cutting off the salary spend for the squad. It makes no sense, but we're not going to be talking about that. But part of the problem is Javier Tebas and his restrictions. But the moment there are other clubs out there bidding for Joao Felix, Barcelona is going to be in serious trouble. And the only key that I can see that could help this club is Joao Felix saying, I only want to continue at Barcelona. I do not care about the other bids. I do not care if Manchester United are offering me 40 million euros a season. I want to stay at Barcelona. And to be very honest, you can feel that. You can feel the love of Felix with the club. Every time he does play on the pitch, and every time he does have to talk to the interviewers, when a match is over, he looks very happy and very complete and content. And that's very important, because if we want to keep any player in general, they need to be happy here first. Now, Javi Miguel continued to say this. Inside Barcelona's dressing room, there is concerns about Joao Felix, and there are quotes in the club such as, how can a player of such quality not continue with us? With his performances, the price to sign him next summer will exceed 100 million euros, which Barcelona clearly cannot afford. So again, this is a real problem. But the love of Felix with the club is very much real, and that is our only hope. Felix also stated this to Mundo Deportivo earlier today. It's true, I gave up important amount of money to join Barcelona. I needed to change. I wanted to join this football club. And so yes, Joao Felix is earning around 400,000 euros, not million, but 400,000 euros at the club. Not even 500,000 euros a season. He's earning 400,000 euros. And it sounds so foreign for me to say the word thousand instead of saying million. It's crazy how much he has cut his salary. At Atletico Madrid, he was earning 40 million euros gross, which is a lot of money. Like, he literally cut off 90% of his salary to join Barcelona. And you're going to tell me that Joao Felix does not have massive love for this club? He clearly does. And so Felix overall has been very impressive. There's a interesting stat that just came out and it states this. Joao Felix, a new Barcelona signing, scoring on both his first La Liga start and his Champions League start, hasn't been done since 2013. The last player that was able to do this was Alexis Sanchez. You know what's funny? Alexis Sanchez came in to Barcelona around the same age of Joao Felix. But I feel like the only difference between these two players is that Sanchez came into this club with a very competitive squad. squad, and there was a lot of players already in to compete for his position. So Sanchez really had to work for his spot, and there was a lot of healthy competition, I would say. But with Joao Felix going into this specific squad, he's given much more opportunity to be the main face of the attack, because there wasn't really a real left winger at Barcelona that was able to produce a lot of goals before Joao Felix came in, so he can make the left wing position his. So I believe the real key here, if Barcelona really want to make something happen, is gonna have to go through Jorge Mendes and also Ansu Fati. And when I mean by Ansu Fati, I'm talking about like, okay, if Ansu Fati is out on loan and he does well with Brighton, Barcelona can sell Ansu for a really good amount and use those funds to lessen the cost of Joao Felix, because I don't see any other player that is going to be having massive value other than Ansu Fati. Like if we talk about Christensen, I don't think that Christensen is going to be sold whatsoever. He's having a great season. He's untransferable, and I don't even think that he'll be sold for no more than 50 million euros. Could it be Lewandowski? I also don't think so, due to his age and because he'll be in his last year of his contract. As for Rafinha, maybe. That's probably going to be our next biggest hope. Deco's going to have to do a lot of work if he wants to sell Rafinha to a different club and for a good amount. Deco has negotiated Rafinha's deal with Barcelona, and so I'm sure that Deco would probably consider selling Rafinha to a different club if the whole deal of Ansu Fati does not work out and Ansu Fati gets back to the club, and maybe Xavi Hernandez is saying, I want Ansu Fati back. Rafinha could be the second option, as a matter of fact, but who knows how much Barcelona would sell him for. Whether it's Ansu or Rafinha, the cost is going to have to be at the very least 65 to 75 million euros. At the very least, Barcelona will have to sell him within those amounts, because then that would lead towards Barcelona only paying around 45 to 65 million euros for Joao Felix in total after they collect those funds. So Barcelona is going to have to hustle through this. It's going to take a lot of struggle, but they can get it done. And that's if Joao Felix overperforms for the rest of this season. If he scores about 15 to 20 goals in all competitions and provides about 9 to 10 assists. And so this is going to be the question that I do want to ask you guys. How much do you think Barcelona should pay in terms of his face value? Like, is it going to be 95 million euros, 100 million euros, 110 million euros? And what strategy should Barcelona use to lessen the cost of Joao Felix? Because there's going to have to be some creative negotiations that's going to have to happen between Deco, Jorge Mendes, and Joan Laporta. So let's say, for example, Rafinha gets sold and Xavi says, I want Ansu Fati at all costs because he had a wonderful season at Brighton. Then I would have Ansu Fati and Joao Felix as our left wing options, our striker position containing Vitor Roque and Lewandowski, and then on our right wing area, we have Ferran Torres and Lamine Yamal occupying those positions. That's probably how I would take it as of now. Now keep in mind, we're still very early in the season. Things could really change in about 6 to 7 months. Who knows who could be linked to Barcelona in the future? Maybe Joao Felix doesn't over-deliver anymore, and maybe by the next game, we never see Joao Felix outperforming ever again. But as of now, this would probably be the way. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.